Thanks for your company this afternoon. Telstra's network failure caused a domino effect of inconvenience for millions yesterday. From trains locked at a standstill to traffic lights failing and the worst, not being able to pay for a coffee, not to mention phone call and internet failures. Joining us on the debrief this afternoon, Em Tressida from SAFM in Adelaide and Leon Shergren from 101.9 The Fox in Melbourne. Good afternoon to both of you. Guys, this raises the question, are we relying too much on technology for our cities to function, Leon?
Yeah, look, it was a wild day yesterday. I'm with Telstra and I got up and on my way in, I used Google Maps as I usually do to try and avoid traffic, and that didn't work. Couldn't listen to a podcast. I tried to get a coffee, couldn't get that. Even a friend of mine was stuck in a lift because their building's lift uses Telstra and they couldn't get out of it. So just seeing these sort of simple things that affect you is wild. And, I'm of an age where I remember when I was younger and, we didn't have phones, but I feel sorry for the kids that have grown up with this, and this is just a weird thing for them now.
Yeah, Em, it can be a bit of a shock to the system because we used to be able to do this. We used to be able to use cash. We used to be able to get the directory out.
Yeah, absolutely. We used to be able to put a CD in the CD player and listen to that. I remember also yesterday getting in the car and I was like, oh my gosh, I only have one downloaded playlist. That is all I have to work with. So we absolutely have become so reliant on modern technology because it's all around us, of course. And it's sad for us, but then also it's really, really life-threatening in some cases, like we saw yesterday, these emergency services numbers and calls not going through. Really, we need to do something about this. I don't know what the solution is. Maybe the telcos work together on this a little bit more.
Yeah, if we're going to rely on the infrastructure, it's got to work. Moving on, one of the country's most popular holiday hotspots is feeling the pinch, with Noosa businesses reporting their toughest trading conditions in more than 2 decades. Retailers say rising accommodation costs are driving Aussies towards cheaper overseas holidays. This is part and parcel with cheaper airfares. It's almost easier to fly to Bali or somewhere in the Pacific than go for a road trip.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually recently went to the Philippines with my partner and it was an amazing trip. Didn't cost very much. We got a massage for less than $40 right on a beachfront. So yes, this is super appealing to everybody. I think actually the solution might be, because overseas trips you want to go for like a week or maybe more, the solution might be that we focus on weekend trips in Australian locations. So Noosa, for example, why don't every single accommodation in Noosa get a hot tub? Because when I'm searching for accommodation, I want a hot tub.
All right, Leon, do you reckon that would work, or should we feel guilty about going overseas and not backing local businesses, local jobs?
I think you've got to find a good scenario where you can do both. Like, I think I've been overseas because, I go to a lot of music festivals and gigs. I love my live music. And a lot of them don't come to Australia these days because it costs too much, to get them over here. With the cost of living, particularly in Australia, it's costing a lot for everything. So I've been overseas, like I went to Poland to see Beyonce because it was cheaper, for example. But I think you need to have some options in Australia for things that people can do, outside of just the tourism that is there. It's what events we can put on to try and encourage people to stay within the country.
Yeah, and even, a short weekend away should be pretty easy as well.
I'll take that whenever we can.
For sure. Okay, how about this one? A new report has blamed Gen Z and human resources for the death of office romances. A growing number of experts say workplace romances have become unfairly taboo, and that ditching dating apps for real-life connections could be the answer to modern dating burnout. We're not going into the office, and plenty of people aren't going to the pub. They're not even drinking anymore, so it's going to be hard to meet someone, isn't it, Em?
Yeah, I think it is pretty hard to meet people in person, but I do think there are potentially other spots that aren't the office, because yes, meeting someone and having an office romance, sexy, fun, flirty, but you know what's none of those things? The office breakup.
Yeah, it can be a bit awkward, can't it, Leon? Unless you don't know from personal experience, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I haven't had an office romance. I think I work in the radio industry, and I think a lot of people in the industry, they've coupled up. I think it's a weird pressure thing when you're under the pressure in this environment of radio. A lot of people will hook up there. I'm yet to have that happen. I'm desperately single, so maybe I'm looking at the wrong places.
Okay, all right, we've got a final one for you. This bizarre fashion moment that has whipped up a storm at the NATO summit in Turkey. The Prime Minister of Albania was seen wearing bright white sneakers, standing out during the traditional family photo with world leaders. Sneakers and a suit. Does it work, Leon?
Look, I work with a colleague who is Albanian. He's actually a contributor on Channel 7 as well, Josiah Sharla. He's probably watching. I think it's a fashion thing. I think the Albanians are very cool, and look, he stands out, and he made a difference. I think he's doing it for a reason, and we're all talking about him. I love it.
It is a big thing in America, I know, black sneakers with a suit. Does it pass the fashion test, Em?
I think it does. He actually is a basketball player, played for the national team, as I'm led to believe. So this is his, I guess, homage to his previous life as a basketballer. It's cool. I like it.
It's either that or he's lost his luggage. Possibly.
Possibly.
Em, Leon, good to see you. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Thank you.